All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to make some flatbread with a shallot herb butter. To my 2 cups of flour, I'm gonna go ahead on and add a little bit of salt. And before I put my oil in my water, I'm gonna go ahead on and give that a stir just to make sure that salt is evenly distributed. All right. Now, let's take our oil and our water and we're gonna blend them in together. Even if the world say oil and water don't mix, I don't care because it's going in this dough today. It's gonna blend in this dough just fine. So create your little well and pour in your wet mixture into your dough and just keep stirring until you form a nice ball of dough. I like to personally just stir it and turn the bowl so I can grab all that extra flour that's just sitting on the side, acting like it's not going to participate in this flatbread party that we having. All right, all flour is getting mixed. All right, and after you finish mixing it, you're gonna see this nice ball of dough start to come together. All right, don't panic if you got a few little crumbs on the bottom. You're gonna need the dough later. Well, not later, like really soon. And see, perfect little ball of dough, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get you some flour and then you're gonna dust your surface and go ahead on and spread it all over there. And then roll your dough ball out to the flour part, all right? So now what you're gonna do is add a little bit of flour to the top of the dough, add some flour to your hands, get your LeBron James on, do whatever you gotta do with the flour, just make sure you got enough flour on your hands. And then you're gonna knead this dough 40 times. So you're about to use some elbow grease, all right? Now, while you're kneading the dough, you may need a little bit of extra flour because you notice your dough is starting to stick. Just add a little bit of flour and keep counting, all right? After you get your kneaded dough 40 times, just throw that ball of dough back into your bowl for 5 minutes. Let the dough rest so the gluten can start to do its thing. After 5 minutes, we come on back and now it's time to roll up our individual flatbreads, all right? So after fighting with the dough to get it out of the bowl, because it has such a bond with the bowl, we're gonna go ahead on and cut our dough into half, and then we're gonna cut those halves into quarters, okay? Don't worry about being super precise about this, just cut your 4 pieces of dough. And then after you get your little pieces of dough, we're just gonna go ahead on and roll those up into nice little dough balls. Look at that little cute little dough ball right there. All right, now it's time to make our flatbreads. All right, I like to flatten my bread like a little patty. All right, then what you're gonna get is your rolling pin, and then you're gonna roll it. I like to go 2 forward, 2 back, and then rotate 2 forward and 2 back. All right, now if you don't have a rolling pin, I've used wine bottles, I've used water glasses, I've did a little bit of everything just to roll out some dough in my time. Do not judge me. You know you've done it too. All right. So all you want to do is make sure that you get your dough about 1/8 of an inch flat, and then you take your fork and pierce it so your dough doesn't puff up. All right. We don't want no puffed up bread. All right. Look how pretty that is. All right. So what you can do is after you finish making your flatbreads, lightly dust it with some flour and then sit it on top of the dough that you already have. I like to do 2 at a time just to make sure that my dough that I rolled out first isn't left behind, okay? So to a preheated skillet, I add 1 teaspoon of oil, take a little paper towel and swish it all around it, okay? Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna cook this for 1 minute per side. That's it, just 1 minute. You literally can make this in underneath 30 minutes, all right? Flip it over, look at how pretty that is. Look at how pretty that is, all them beautiful brown spots. That is deliciousness. Excuse me while I had to give my Instagram followers a little behind the scenes of that deliciousness. Now for our shallot herb butter. You wanna take some room temperature butter, 2 sprigs of Italian parsley, and a shallot, all right? For those of you who don't know what a shallot is like if garlic and onion had a little baby and that baby became shallot, all right? That's what we're gonna use. If you can't find any shallots, go ahead on and use a little garlic in this recipe. I won't judge you. I'm still gonna love you, all right? So get those shallots chopped up nice and fine and then add it to your butter. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the leaves off the Italian herbs and then you're just gonna go ahead on and chop that up nice and fine because nobody wants to have big pieces of parsley in their teeth, and only use Italian parsley because that curly leaf stuff is only meant for garnishing deviled eggs, and I don't see no deviled eggs. All right, we add the parsley and the shallots and a little bit of salt to it, and then we're just gonna smash that into the butter so it binds it nice together. And after you do this, after a little while, you'll notice that the butter is a little bit more pliable and you can turn it and spoon it up into this beautiful bowl. All right, look at how beautiful that is. All right, and then after that, all your flatbread's done, your butter's finished. Now it's just time for you to smear your shallot herb butter all over your flatbreads. Okay, this is a great recipe for people who just want to make their own bread sometimes and don't want to take all day to make it. All right, no yeast is involved, everything is nice and beautiful, but that's how easy it is to make this delicious flatbread with shallot herb butter. You can find a recipe link down below or go to KennethTemple.com to find it. I'll see you next time.